Welcome to part 2 of the Uplevel Forever series, where I share with you how you are going to maximize your life and consistently feel in control of your future. At the end of each video of this series, I give you a list of action steps to take, so stay tuned to the end to get that list. Humans have it so easy nowadays. Imagine having to bathe in frigid waters or live at a home without any sort of heat in the dead of winter, or walking for miles to find something to eat. Now, obviously, humans don't enjoy living like that, which is why we have invented things to make life easier for ourselves. However, without some sort of challenge or resistance, we become weak, both physically and mentally. In other words, we now have a very low threshold for challenge. Some of the ways that I like to challenge myself, both mentally and physically, are cold therapy, doing athletic challenges, and intentionally doing things that make me scared. Cold therapy has been proven to increase serotonin levels, decrease cortisol levels, and contribute to multiple physical benefits like decreased inflammation and increased circulation. I do the cold plunge 5 days a week and feel so proud of myself every single time. It does get a little easier after a while, but the point for me is to do something that my body is actively resisting. There is something about doing something that you know your body is capable, but your mind is just fighting because it knows how uncomfortable it's going to be, and that's why I love it so much. I personally love challenging myself athletically. For me, it builds mental toughness and an innate sense of confidence in myself. I have begun running again, which I haven't really run consistently since high school, and it is a lot more challenging than I remember, but after a few weeks of consistently running every single week, I can now run up to 6 miles at a pretty decent pace for having not run since high school. When was the last time that you challenged your body to the point where you wanted to quit so badly, but you persisted? By doing hard things athletically or mentally, you are training your brain that despite what its safety mechanism says, doing hard things is possible. As you begin to up-level your life, you will notice that things around you might start to change. You won't want to participate in certain conversations or activities. There's a possibility that you might adopt a new schedule. You'll be wanting to surround yourself with people who talk about goals and action plans. You'll find yourself less willing to tolerate certain behaviors from you and the people close to you. Therefore, it is vital that you establish boundaries. Before I get into this, let me lay the foundation that this is being done from a place of love and with no expectation for the other person to change. We cannot subjugate other people to our beliefs, which means that it's going to be tough, but we can't become upset when someone continually tries to overstep our boundaries. Sometimes enforcing a boundary means you having to take a step back, and that is okay. That is a part of the process, and any person who has ever gone through the process of up-leveling their life has gone through the exact same thing. Some boundaries you might want to start with yourself, such as I do not gossip, or I do not make fun of other people. And then over time, as you find that it might become harder to have that boundary with yourself based off of the people that you're surrounded by, you'll begin enforcing those boundaries with other people. This could look like, I love you, but when you talk to me like that, it does not make me want to engage further in a conversation with you. So if you talk like that to me again, I'm just going to walk away. Or I love hanging out with you, but I kind of feel like we're always complaining or talking about other people. Do you think that we could find something else to talk about? Or I would love if we found another activity to do together rather than binge watch Netflix, as much as I love spending time with you. Maybe we could watch a board game or go for an evening walk. Notice that with these boundary examples that I'm giving you, I'm saying what the boundary is that I want to enforce, and I'm offering an alternative solution or the consequence of what's going to happen if the boundary is not respected. A fundamental part of enforcing boundaries is actually sticking to them. Otherwise, the people who you're enforcing them with won't respect them, and worst of all, you won't respect them. If you want to operate as the highest version of yourself, I highly recommend getting organized in the most important areas of your life. Use a calendar, track your finances, get your important documents organized. The purpose of this is to not only be organized, but for our brains to be allowed to be thinking machines rather than storage machines. I use my calendar religiously. I put every single solitary thing that happens in my daily life on my calendar. The obvious things like doctor's appointments, nail appointments, work meetings, but I put dates with my boyfriend, I put coffee dates with my friends, I put dates that I want to go work out of the house at a coffee shop or something, so that I know this is on my calendar, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I am committed to. I have talked about this in previous videos, but this allows me to not double book myself, not stress out because I've overbooked myself, and ultimately be super organized with what I want to do. I also track every single one of my transactions. I know to the penny exactly how much I've made and exactly how much I've spent for the last 2 years, which is how long I've been tracking my finances. I'm going to elaborate this more on the video where I talk about becoming financially responsible, so be on the lookout for that video. And finally, keeping important files organized. Admittedly, I have only just recently done this. I keep spare credit cards, tax documents, and any sort of legal documents that I need, as well as things where I'm just like, where did I put that again? I recommend using a binder like one of those 3-ring binders that we used to use in school with clear plastic sheets. This is where I like to put my passport, tax documents, etc. Have little tabs on the end so everything is super easy to find. I found that this is the method that works best for me and honestly the cheapest and most simple. Just imagine how empowered and like superwoman you'll feel if you're organized in all of these important areas of your life. Everyone's way of hearing their intuition is different. Some people hear an actual voice in their head. Some people have these insane gut feelings, and other people have a subtle emotional reaction. I personally recommend looking into your human design as a kind of a guidance to see how your intuition works with you. You know your intuition is speaking to you when you get a sickening pit in your stomach when you're next to someone, when you feel the urge to compliment someone, when you get a sinking feeling that maybe you should take the exit before your regular one, or when you get the feeling that maybe you should call your mom. Being able to take action based on your intuition is like a superpower, but it takes months and months to hone. So I recommend beginning to practice now. I have an action step for you at the end of this video that is going to help you get in tune with your intuition. I have become very, very good at knowing how a conversation or a situation is going to affect me. Now, like I've said in previous videos, I am an extreme advocate for extreme ownership, meaning I actually don't let something or someone affect me. I take ownership for how I'm feeling. I don't blame someone else for it. Now, that being said, I also do not willingly subject myself to situations or hanging around people who make me feel not good. You might not know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna give you a few examples of common situations where most people feel not good, but they just don't really know that that's what it's called. So some examples are gossiping about a really close friend of ours, being yelled at by our parents, talking about extremely stressful situations that we have little to no control over, and stressing about finances. Like, just think about those situations. They don't make us feel good when we think about them. So when you're in a situation or you're talking to someone and you don't really know, am I not feeling good or does this make me feel good? I want you to ask yourself this question. Does the highest vibration, most balance, loving, grounded version of myself enjoy this situation? Does she like to feel how I'm feeling right now? Does it make her feel better? Imagine steering yourself away from conversations that make you feel lack or at a very low vibration. Not out of avoidance, but out of a conscious decision to operate at the highest vibration. Now, I know this might sound woo-woo if you've never done this before or heard about this, but I promise that when you switch your thinking from I have no control over my life and I let other people and situations affect me to I take extreme ownership for how I am feeling, and I choose to operate in a state of feeling good no matter what. Your life will change. Now, here are the action steps that I really encourage you to write down and begin taking. Do something mentally and or physically hard. Set a goal pace for a mile. Do some sort of athletic challenge like the Murphy test or the Cooper test. Do a cold plunge for 3 minutes. Whatever you choose, I recommend doing something very difficult. Make a list of boundaries that you would like to set just for yourself. Don't focus on setting boundaries for other people unless you kind of already know where you would like these boundaries to be drawn. Begin using your calendar. Make a widget on the home screen of your phone so that it's easily accessible. Create a folder for your important documents and begin gathering all together and organizing them. Get financially organized. I love doing this at the beginning of the year. I feel so on top of myself. You can use an automatic app like YNAB, You Need a Budget, or Mint. I personally use a dashboard where I manually input everything. I have found that this really helps me get really in tune with my finances. Again, we'll talk about this in the finance video, but it is just so important to be financially organized. Start paying attention to your intuition. Write down the things that you feel an intuitive nudge to do or not to do, even if you don't act on it, so that you can begin to see a pattern of how acting or not acting on something might have affected your life in some way. Begin paying attention to situations that make you feel constricted or just not good. Listen to the videos below in the description under feeling good. And that is it for the video. I would love for you guys to comment your progress down below. We can create a community of us all up-leveling ourselves. You guys are super awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.